Justin Popovich here again with my buddy, Brad Goss. I say buddy because we're Canadian. And Brad and I were talking, as we do quite frequently, about an interesting topic of being authentic. And actually, even as we flipped the camera on here, we had to press stop once because I wasn't being authentic, and Brad called me on it. And it's true.
Do what you do.
Okay, sometimes when we flip the camera on, I go, "Hello, everybody," and I go into this game show talking voice. So Brad called me on it, and so let's talk about it. Being authentic. How good are you at being authentic, and how many layers of crap are you hiding underneath when you meet people, either in social situations or in business? And we're both realizing that we have layers that we need to get rid of. I'm probably worse than you, but we both admit that this is something we want to work on. And this idea came from Brad was meeting with another speaker last week, somebody who's very experienced, very successful in speaking. Brad's kind of making his transition to that level now, and tell us what he told you, because I think it's really important.
One of the things I've been struggling with, maybe you know this if you follow my blog, maybe you don't, but the first 10 years I spent online was in the adult business. I built sites, adult sites. I owned and operated porn sites. And now that I don't really do that so much anymore. I've kind of moved out of adult into things that actually pay better. Essentially what's happened from this is that I've kind of hit this point where I don't know if I should be embracing that past and talking about it, especially this is when I'm on stage. If I should be talking about that past, or if I should kind of leave that in the dark and just take the technical knowledge that I have and move forward with it. And when I met with this guy last week, he basically said to me, the fact that you were in the adult business is probably one of your best assets when it comes to coming up with talk titles and filling rooms at trade shows, because if you can say what I learned in the porn business, or what you can learn from my 10 years in the porn business, or blah blah blah, that is a much more compelling story than just me trying to be fake and not rely on that.
Yeah, but from a authenticity perspective, even not just on stage, blog videos like this, your blog posts, it's not something you've come out and just talked about all the time, and yet Brad's been a pretty good mentor to me. I've learned a lot of stuff from him business-wise, and a lot of the stories we talk about behind the scenes are things, the lessons he's learned in that industry, because it's still business lessons. At the end of the day, it's still business. He had to figure out a way to make his business profitable, and it applies to the adult industry, it applies to every other industry as well. So you've got 13 years of that experience to share. And I think most business people are going to want to hear it regardless of what industry it was from. So I'm glad to see Brad making this shift, because I think his audience and the people watching this now, you guys are going to get a lot more out of what he's been saying than you've ever seen before. How I'm going to do it, how I want to apply this as well, is ever since becoming an entrepreneur, I think I've done a pretty good job of becoming more authentic, and it still requires coaching. We still put each other in check all the time. But I'm going to continue to work on being the guy that I am, like I told Brad, when we go out to the bar for a drink, or when when I take my kids up to his place and we're hanging out in the backyard. I'm still not the same guy. I'm still a little bit more fun-loving and outgoing when the camera's turned off, or when there's no clients in the office, than I am when it's a business setting. And I think in this day and age we can do both at the same time. I don't think we have to have this false business mask we wear anymore. As long as you have a product and a service in the business that's of value, be real, be authentic.
I think the closer that you are to your whether it's your YouTube persona or your on-stage persona in real life, the more people will hear your message, and the more you will find your audience. And as someone who's trying to get into speaking, one of the things I had to realize was that everyone has their audience, and my audience is different to your audience. We might have some crossover, but you might have a different type of person that likes your talk versus mine, and other people have different audiences. And the truer you are to yourself, the more you find the right audience that you needed all along, that wants to hear what you have to say, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And as somebody, just to close this up, as somebody who has had to deal with a lot of anxiety issues, whether it's speaking or in business situations, the anxiety has gone down as I've become more real, because I don't have to pretend to be anybody that I'm not. So now if they've seen me on camera acting the way I act normally, then what else is there? There's nothing much to be nervous about anymore.
Yep.
So there we go. Be real.